This is Alex, Countess of Sussex, just after she rushed to catch her train to Billings, Montana. Were you the flip I was robbed? What did he take? He took everything. At first, I missed it. But here, I'll rewind just a little bit. Watch Alex's left arm when she says everything. He took everything. Did she just... All right. Full disclosure, I missed this, but my wife sure didn't. She watches so much of this show, and she shouted and gasped. Did she lose the baby? The answer to that is a big part of this 1923 Season 2, Episode 4 recap video. But there are so many other Easter eggs to get to. Honestly, this may be the most interesting episode of Season 2 to date. This week, I have to give major credit to you for pointing out the stunning connection between 1923 and Yellowstone, involving this guy. A century ago, that journey took a year. Flights from New York could reach Bozeman in under 12 hours, and from Chicago in under 8. No, I'm not talking about his plan to build an airport and a ski resort in Paradise Valley. I mean, yeah, that's a connection, but there's something even more jaw-dropping. Another fan of these videos found a clue that seems to make it clear that Spencer survives this year, and for a long, long time after the show ends. Did Alex lose the baby? Let's get right to Alex, because I know nobody likes a video that takes 14 minutes to get to the reason you clicked in the first place. I'd previously called that guy Bowler Cap in earlier videos, but his character name is the Alabaster Man, and he beats the hell out of Alex, robbing her in the bathroom at Grand Central Station. Here's the important part. Man, to think we could have had some fun. You're too skinny. Too much trouble. As I watched this part a second and third time, I really focused on the sound she makes. Just go ahead and rewind it once more if you want to watch again, because it's pretty horrific. The Alabaster Man stomped down on her midsection, and that's a big problem because she's 4 months pregnant. He took everything. She seems to know that she's lost the pregnancy. I guess we'll find out for sure in the weeks to come. But those of us obsessed with the Dutton family tree found this really concerning. That's potentially the second time in 2 seasons we've lost the thread to modern-day John Dutton. Major Dutton family tree update. I'm about to break this down, so if you get tired of hearing about the 7 generations and who John Dutton's grandfather is, use the time codes to skip ahead to Spencer's journey home and the evidence that he survives, not just past 1923, but long enough to see America put a man on the moon. Last season, when we learned that Elizabeth Stratford was pregnant, we were able to build a family tree that looked like this. I'll give you a second to look at it. You can see all 7 generations between James Dutton and Tate Dutton clearly marked. But then, almost simultaneously, Liz miscarried. And we learned Alex was pregnant, so we created a new version that looked like this. This created some controversy, and tons of people disagreed with me placing that extra generation between Spencer and Dabney Coleman's John Dutton. But it's the only way to get to 7, in my opinion. I updated the photos here too, reflecting how we know the characters today. Out of this, I came up with all sorts of theories about how Spencer and Alex will die, but the family tree still works. I think the best theory is that Jack and Elizabeth adopt Spencer's baby, who would be named J.N., after Spencer's brother, John. He died in Season 1, Episode 3, of course. Now, if Alex loses the baby, we're back to square one, except that she gets pregnant again. Holy moly. Now she's expecting once more, so we're back to the original family tree with no extra generation. Of course, I wouldn't bet money on this for 2 reasons. 1, it's kind of dumb to wager money on a fictional pregnancy. And 2, we're only halfway through Season 2. There could be 2 more pregnancies and 2 more miscarriages. All that said, It now appears that we're back to Dabney Coleman's father being Jack Dutton, with the baby named after his father, John. And honestly, I like this best, except it means Alexandra is probably the one who doesn't survive the show, which I like least. I mean, we can all agree that someone's going to die, right? Maybe I spent a little too much time on this, because last week, I asked you to caption this photo of Cara Dutton and Bob Cole. 612 of you answered with, "I wish Billy Dukes wouldn't keep trying to kill us off." Touch. I'll hit pause on that and shift to someone who no longer think he's going to die. I'll give you a ride, son. It's not a request. Spencer had an eventful episode, didn't he? After watching his boy, Luca, get killed last week, he was left to head north on foot, where he was promptly picked up by the sheriff, who said he'd take him to the train station but lied. You know, that Italian boy sure was a talker. Ain't talking anymore, though. I've met plenty of bootleggers. You don't fit the bill, but here you are, bootlegging. In actuality, the sheriff wants him to continue driving the illegal booze to Fort Worth, where he'll lead a sting that benefits the sheriff. Spencer is able to get away and find a freight train heading west. Phew. Oh, wait, everybody's got to pay. Even you. Not me. What makes you so special? I'm the tax collector. Has anyone's death ever been more guaranteed than the tax collector's after Spencer says this? What does half an ounce of lead sound like after the inevitable? Spencer hops off the train and is again on foot, having not eaten a proper meal in at least 24 hours. As I watched all of this, all I could think was if only Spencer had taken that meal from Luca's cousin back in Galveston. They wanted to celebrate him, but he threw a fit. Nothing but bad things have happened since. It's a bad decision waterfall. But here's why I think Spencer actually lives through it. Do you see it? Let me zoom in a little and circle where it says 1969 Spencer, played by Gerard Sanders. That's the guy who once played Tony Stark's father or grandfather in Iron Man. This comes from MD's profile of Season 2, Episode 7. It's definitely true that MB can be slippery with information. But as of now, it looks like we'll have a 75 to 80-year-old Spencer Dutton in some sort of flash-forward sequence. I've got to credit R. Jenkins66BJ for pointing this out in the comments section. That's a great call, and it works with what Elsa said at the very beginning of the series. My father had 3 children. Only one would live to see their own children. Last week during the episode 4 preview video, I predicted this would be the ugliest episode of the season. And I think I was right, although it wasn't as bad as I thought. In large part, this is because I knew they'd show Zane's brain surgery to relieve the subdural hematoma. And they absolutely did. What are the chances he wakes up during this? That was hard to take, but it worked. Yay. Zane looks to be good to go and ready to fight with the Duttons, who are quickly fortifying the house. I didn't anticipate Alex getting so brutally beaten at the train station. Rewatching that made episode 4 even uglier than it was the first time. The first train station sighting. I did think we'd get more of Donald Whitfield's sadistic bedroom behavior. And I'm only going to describe what happened because the majority of 1,923 fans feel like Rita J and J777, who said, "Why? Why do we need to watch filth to that degree?" I'm with you, Rita. One of Donald's women, Lindy, accidentally kills the other. Christy, while they're in the bedroom, she strangles her to death. And the person who gets the muddy end of that stick? Banner, who now has to dump the body. We already knew how that goes down because of this clip from the trailer. The cool part? It's the very first train station sighting. We know that because of this conversation between Banner and Whitfield. They've recorded a county with no township. No private land. All of this is still owned by the government. There is no judge. There is no sheriff. which is to say there is no crime. So, if anyone ever asks you who the first body to fall down the cliff at the train station was, it's a prostitute named Christy. Here's what I want to know. How do the Duttons learn about all this? Right now, it's bad guy information. And we know the good guys win because we have 5 seasons of Yellowstone in the can. Presumably, a train station visit involving Dutton, Whitfield, and his men goes bad for Whitfield. But I think there's another possibility we have to consider. Banner seems really conflicted, doesn't he? Is there a world where Banner Crichton could turn on Donald Whitfield and end up as an ally for Jacob? It seems kind of wild, but the deeper we get into Season 2, the more it seems possible. This clip from Banner's wife got me thinking. You said that could be our castle. But you must throw the prince from the wall. I say, throw him from high enough that he doesn't try to steal it back. What if Jacob isn't the prince? What if it's Whitfield? That would put Donald Whitfield's home on the right side of the law. Which is important because compare his house with the governor's mansion where John Dutton is killed in Yellowstone Season 5. It's the same dang house. Donald Whitfield's. The house becomes the governor's mansion, and I think we find out during Season 2. Huge shout out to @JateGazaway 1617 for pointing that out. I did not realize it on my own. See what I mean? You guys were so good this week. Of course, the other big connection between Don Whitfield and John Dutton is Don's 3-part business plan. First, he wants to build an airport. Then, he wants to pave a road to Paradise Valley. And finally, he wants to build a ski lodge. Stop me if you've heard that before. It's exactly what Dan Jenkins and Market Equities, or Merit Equities if you prefer, wanted to do on Yellowstone. Banner points out that all of these plans involve Jacob Dutton's land, which is basically why we're guaranteed a shootout before this is over. Man, this gunfight better be epic. Comment below if you saw something I missed. We'll include the best of them in this Thursday's episode 5 preview video. But first, I want your opinion on this. Do you think Spencer's current path will intersect with Tiana? She seems to be near Amarillo. And at the end of episode 4, it looks like she's on the move again because Marshall Kent has plastered the town with posters of her mugshot. Marshall Fawcett is looking for her. And we know that she meets up with Spencer Dutton. 30 miles from anything. Where are you headed? Montana. So, will Spencer help Tiana? I'll include the results of this poll in Thursday's episode. Subscribers to our channel know that I love diving into the credits to see who plays those bit characters. This week, I was kind of bummed. I couldn't figure out who played the tax collector on the freight train. However, I did find out who played the tarred and feathered woman in Fort Worth. That was just the strangest thing to me because there was no reason for that scene in the context of the show. And there was absolutely no reason for Spencer to run out of his way to save her. However, anyone who remembers Taylor Sheridan plugging in supermodel Bella Hadid in Season 5 of Yellowstone may smile when they learn that the tarred and feathered woman was none other than Marie Wetherill, a supermodel and athlete. Here's some BTs from an Instagram account. I mean, the man loves taking care of his friends, doesn't he? Hey, before you go, check out this video interview with Alexandra actress Julia Scher. My Dutton Rules podcast co-host Addison Hager had a great 10-minute conversation with her. They talked about everything from kissing Spencer to how motherhood affected her character. She also shares a really good Harrison Ford story. I'm Billy Dukes with Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.